In front of 4 here on FAN, Jody Mack and Rich Mancuso answering your wrestling questions, those that we've gotten through the mail. Richie, let's get to the letters. We've got some good questions. Our pal Will Weehee wants to know, can you tell me something about Max Andrews, who is the so-called boss of the wrestling cartel in the GWF? Not too familiar with him.
Well, Max comes out of the independent ranks, and Joe Pedicino gave him a good shot, and there's big plans for him.
Okay. From our pal Mike from Middle Village, was Paulie dangerously really suspended or part of the Rick Rude angle?
Well, he supposedly was suspended. We heard it from Dave just moments ago. And but the plan is to make him a full-time manager, and that's what he's going to be now.
Whatever happened to the Barbarian and Haku?
Well, they've been regulated to what they call C status in the WWF. And, in fact, both of them will probably work in independence along with Coco Beware and a lot of other guys in the WWF because there's just not enough work right now.
Okay, Alexandra Mann's question this week is, how would you start out if you wanted to be an announcer or something other than a wrestler in wrestling today?
Well, you have to write to the promoters. Your best shot is go after all the independents that are around the country and, try and go to one of the shows, introduce yourself, and do it that way.
Okay, here's a good question. The letter writer didn't put his name on it, but what are the future plans for El Gigante in the WCW?
Well, the future plans are, I guess, to keep him in six-man tag action more than going on one-on-one because basically when he goes in on himself, his talents just don't show.
Okay, Andy Silverstein has a couple of good questions. If Jim Herd's contract runs out in January of '92, do you think the chances of him receiving a new contract are good or bad?
I think it's pretty good because if the people at TBS wanted him out, he would have been gone already. So they're not faulting him with any of the problems.
With the Rockers gone from the tag team scene in the WWF, does this possibly set the stage for a British Bulldog return?
No, the other British Bulldog has been contacted and does not want to return. And Rocker turn is very interesting. Shawn Michaels turns on Marty Jannetty. You'll see that on TV in the next few weeks. And I think that's a bad move for the WWF because, Jody, they're your favorite team. And I think a lot of fans, that's one of their favorite tag teams. And I think it's a mistake what they're doing with them.
Well, supposedly they're not getting along outside of the ring.
That's true, too. They don't get along. Both of them have tremendous egos, and outside of the ring they clash against each other. So I guess that this does it.
And I don't think they're going to be able to cut it as single wrestlers. The strength is in their tag team abilities with each other. With Slick not managing anymore, will the Warlock wrestle without a manager, or will he be giving a new one?
No, he'll get Harvey Whippleman. Harvey Whippleman will be taking over Slick's duties.
Okay. Is there a chance of Rick Martel coming back to the WWF anytime soon?
He's supposed to come back sometime in December. But the latest word is that there really is no date for him to return.
Okay, Glenn Rossi has a question. If the Ultimate Warrior returns, will he feud with The Undertaker immediately again, and if not, who else?
Well, see, that's an interesting question. If he returns, and he returns by Survivor Series, he could be placed in one of the Survivor Series matches, or he could play a role in that December 3rd show. I kind of think that if they come to an agreement and they want him that bad, and I think they're going to need him at this point, that December 3rd, he'll be playing some type of role.
Big Al Kowalik from Linden has a pair of questions. Did Bruno Sammartino ever wrestle in any federation other than the WWF?
No, he, when he left the WWF, briefly he did some stuff with some independents, but that was very brief. And I think it was more of an announcing role than an appearances than wrestling. But his entire career, the rest of his career, was with the WWF.
Where did John Tolos land after he left the WWF?
He's out of wrestling at the moment. He's not doing anything in wrestling.
Steve Cohen from Fairview, New Jersey, says he heard at recent TV tapings a week before the Survivor Series Macho Man won't be reinstated. If so, how do they get him back in to take Sid Justice's spot at the Survivor Series?
Well, he will be reinstated because Randy Savage gets bitten by Jake's snake, and so there'll be a demand for him to return. Now, if they don't reinstate him, he may also wrestle under a mask as Madness, because that's a match at Nassau Coliseum in December. Madness against Jake the Snake. So he may be under the mask.
The Pro Boys have a Medusa Michelli question. Why did they make her a heel when they already have Lady Blossom, Alexandra York, and Missy Hyatt as female heel?
I think Medusa fits this role quite well, and she is the domineering female in professional wrestling, and that's why this role would be perfect for her in the WCW.
You don't think she could play a fan favorite?
I think she could, but and eventually I'm sure she'll turn. She does have a nice contract, too, which is very rare for a female wrestler in a major federation, with the exception of Sherry Martel.
Huey the Hitman's got a couple questions for us. Who will the Matador feud with in the WWF?
Well, I thought it would be Conan, but now with Santana out of action, with Steamboat gone, Santana's going to be taking his place, so in the Survivor Series showdown, let's see, we had Steamboat was supposed to be on one side with Duggan, Neidhart, and Von Erich. So he may probably get in there against the Skinner or Billy Busick.
Okay, and where are they now? Danny Spivey, Ronnie Garvin, and the Samoan SWAT team.
SST has been wrestling in Puerto Rico, and they've been wrestling for the independents. Danny Spivey's in Japan, and what was the other one?
Ronnie Garvin.
And Ronnie Garvin has been in Puerto Rico.
Okay. Alex the Macho Man has this question. Now that Sid Justice has an injury that may or may not require surgery, has Savage substituted him for his matches against Jake Roberts and The Undertaker? I guess Savage isn't officially in yet, but it's as good as done.
Yeah, he's already been doing that. And again, it's been under the mask as Mr. Madness.
Okay, and last question: who has the best chance for the next Intercontinental Championship when Bret Hart loses?
Well, they're playing up a feud with the Mountie and Hart right now, and they're also looking to put in Billy Busick in there against Bret Hart eventually, so it could be either one of those. But I think Hart's going to have that title at least for a year.
I agree with you. I think he will hold it for a while. Rich Mancuso is here with us on FAN. We're going to the phones. You got a question for us as it pertains to the world of wrestling? 718-937-6666 is where you need to get your dialing fingers busy.
If news...
Jody Mack on Sports Radio 66.
10 before 4 here on FAN. Jody Mack and Rich Mancuso answering your wrestling telephone calls. Let's talk to Rooney from Bayside. Rodney. Rodney, you're on FAN.
Yeah, hi, Jody. Hi, Rich. How you doing?
Okay, Rodney.
Okay, it appears that the WWF is kind of low on some tag team talent right now. Do you know if they have any plans to bring in new tag teams? And who do you think will dethrone the current champions, Legion of Doom?
Well, yeah, they are short and they're breaking up the Rockers. They did try out this team that was here in New York, known as the Undertakers. Two big guys from the Bronx that work for Saboldi's group, the ICW there. Mm-hmm. I don't know if they made it. And there are no plans to bring other tag teams in. As far as throwing who's going to... I think Legion of Doom, they'll be champions for at least a year, maybe more.
Yeah, I really enjoy them. I think they're great. All right, thanks a lot, guys.
Rodney, thank you for the call. Matt from Yonkers is on FAN. Hi, Matty.
Hey, what's up? What does it say? Whatever happened to Dino Bravo, Power and Glory, and the Orient Express?
Orient Express are going to be officially turning good in the next week or so. And then they'll split up and not wrestle as a tag anymore. And Power and Glory have been deregulated. They are working like these C and B shows because there's just not enough work for them. In fact, Hercules has been wrestling a lot on the solo route at the arenas. And what was the other one, Matt?
Dino Bravo.
Dino Bravo was supposed to be coming back by December, but he suffered an injury. So that's stalling his return.
How come they won't let Florida take Seymour's place in Survivor Series to stop him in the other team? You know, he could make it good there.
Oh, I didn't catch that, Matty. What?
Like, how come they don't make Florida take Seymour's place?
Florida?
Yeah.
Well, because they're working a thing with Florida now, as you can see. Like after the Survivor Series, Florida will be coming out with Hacksaw Jim Duggan and in the ring together. And you're supposed to get support Florida again. So what they're doing with Florida is going to try to turn him good again. And Colonel Mustafa and him will start going into a feud.
And how long before Kurt Hennig comes back?
Kurt Hennig will be out at least till early next year. They said 12 months before he'd return. He has a very bad back injury.
All right, thanks very much.
Thanks for the call. Let's move along. Eric from New Jersey, you're on FAM with Rich Mancuso.
Hi, Rich. Hi, Jody. How you doing?
Yes, Eric.
Hi, I was calling about Mr. Perfect. I guess it's pertaining to 3 questions.
Yeah.
I guess you just answered it about his status. He'll be back for 12 months. Is that correct?
At least. They're not even announcing anything on the air. They're not mentioning anything about it at all.
Okay, Rich, would you be able to tell me the theme that he came into? Was that something that you'd be able to purchase, or is that something that was specifically designed for him?
The what?
The theme that he came into, the song that he was...
Steamboat?
No, the Perfect came into.
No, I don't understand the question.
What was the song that he came into the ring, like his theme song?
Oh, I never paid attention to him, you know.
Okay, would there be an address I could be able to reach Mr. Perfect where I can possibly get a signed autograph or photograph?
Well, I guess you'd have to write to the WWF in Stamford, Connecticut. That's the best way to do it.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, thanks for the call. Paul from Boston's next here on the fan. Hi, Paul.
Hey, how you doing? My reception isn't good today. What was yours and Dave Meltzer's opinion on what's going to happen to the Survivor Series? Do you think Hogan's going to drop it there?
I think that's what Dave seems to think, and I kind of think that's what's going to happen due to the interference from Ric Flair.
And what about the December 3rd show? What are some of the matches on that?
Well, some of the matches that they have, they're not going to announce the show, by the way, until the Survivor Series. And some of the matches you'll see will be Rowdy Piper, and Ric Flair will take on Piper in one match, and Big Boss Man and Virgil against DiBiase and IRS. Bret Hart against Steve Keirn, who's the Skinner, and Randy Savage, Jake Roberts is another match that you'll see. And that's only going to be an hour and 50-minute show at a $14.95 price on pay-per-view. And again, they will not mention this until the Survivor Series show.
And when Honky Tonk Man comes to WCW, is he going to be the Honky Tonk Man, or are they going to give him a new gimmick?
No, they'd have to give him a new gimmick. He cannot use that name. That's a WWF trademark. I imagine they'll call him the Honker or something like that.
But he uses that on Independence.
Yeah. Honky says that he's allowed to. But I am sure that if he goes to the WCW, and you can bet on this, that WWF will not permit that.
Then how come when Dusty Rhodes was here, they used American Dream, but he went back? He was
well, I think that the two situations are completely different. Hello? Jody?
Rich, are you still there?
I'm there.
Okay, I think we lost Paul, but we'll see if we can get Eddie from Suffern on the line. Hi, Eddie, you're on FAN.
Rich, how you doing tonight, buddy?
Okay, Eddie.
Okay, I've noticed in wrestling magazines and also in stores that the WWF is still pushing Ultimate Warrior paraphernalia.
Uh-huh.
Now, I think Vince McMahon, I think they were foolish letting him go because he was, all right, next to Hogan, probably the next biggest guy. He brought in money.
Mm-hmm.
And, actually, is it definite he's coming back? And if he doesn't, where does he go from here?
Well, he's been home in Phoenix, Arizona.
Okay.
Now, as far as definite coming back, they're negotiating with him again. He was in the offices last week. And the reason he's got to come back now, and this is the feeling, is because Justice suffered this injury. that are desperate for the big name, a big star to come back and fill the void. I think he'll be back. I don't know if he'll be back for the Survivor Series, but I think he'll be back for the December 3rd show.
Really? Okay, another thing, the Masked Superstar. Somebody called in a couple weeks ago. The Masked Superstar is Axe from Demolition.
Right.
And he's out because he has a bad heart. He's working in the
Right,
office.
he's working for Joe Pedicino.
Okay. Okay, Rich, thanks.
Okay.
All right, thanks for the call. Tom from upstate New York on FAN. Hi, Tom.